just got some breaking news now from President Donald Trump that Charlie Kirk has been pronounced dead after that shooting in Utah. Charlie Kirk has died, a titan of the conservative movement in America and indeed all around the world, confirmed to have died tonight after that single shot from a gunman at an event in Utah. He was a father of 2 young children, a 31-year-old, bright, talented young man who had the world ahead of him. Steve, your reaction, please, to that news that Charlie Kirk has died.
Just awful. This is a very sad day for America. This is a sad day for politics here, for political violence. Last year we saw several assassination attempts against the president, Donald Trump, and unfortunately this one has been successful against Charlie Kirk, one of the most prominent and successful young conservatives in America. He inspired millions of young people. People know his name, not just political people, everyone in universities. He was one of the most famous conservatives here, beloved by millions. And as I said, I met him first time 7 years ago. I've interviewed him several times. I've met him various times. He is just an incredible, or was an incredible man, an incredibly inspirational, charismatic, intelligent, loving. He loved his country. And you know what? He died doing what he did best. He was debating people at a university. This was a man who supported the democratic principle of talking to his opponents. And he has paid the price for that with his life. It's incredible that a far left, potentially far left political assassination has occurred on American soil. And I think millions of Americans, tens of millions of Americans will be shocked today.
Charlie Peters, in the UK, I have to say I am, like the rest of America and the world, saddened to the core reading this Truth Social tweet from President Donald Trump. It says that the great and legendary Charlie Kirk is dead. No one understood or had the heart of the youth in the United States of America better than Charlie. He was loved and admired by all, especially me, and now he's no longer with us. Melania and my sympathies go out to his beautiful wife, Erica, and family. Charlie, says President Trump, we love you.
Ben Leo, this is devastating news, first and foremost for the family of Charlie Kirk, his wife and his young children as well, with the appalling news just breaking via the US President Donald Trump that Charlie Kirk is dead, saying that nobody else understood or had the heart of the youth in the United States of America better than Charlie. Posting on his Truth Social page, the president said that he was loved and admired by all, and the president sharing the sympathies of his family. Melania and my sympathies go out to his beautiful wife, Erica, and family. He says, Charlie, we love you. And Ben Leo, if we were expecting significant reaction to the shooting, there will now, of course, be a widespread outpouring of sympathies and tributes to one of the most influential conservative activists in the United States, but also, frankly, around the world, engaging so many people right around the world and generating so much reaction. Well, I'm joined now by GB News presenter Bev Turner, live in Washington, D.C., for her reaction to that appalling breaking news that Charlie Kirk has died.
It's horrific. Charlie, we are here in DC, GB News, myself and Ben Leo. We've been rehearsing today to prepare for our new series, Late Show Live, which is going to be starting very soon. We don't want to start our series on such a tragic note. We wanted to be here to celebrate with the British people the great work that Donald Trump is doing in this country in terms of illegal migration and the crime and improving education and bringing down inflation. There are some really great news stories here. But of course, violence is rife in this country, and political violence. And make no mistake, the death of Charlie Kirk is a political assassination. He wasn't just somebody that liked to debate. He proudly wore his conservatism, his Christian beliefs, and he would go into these university campuses. He would take on anybody that wanted to debate him. My feelings right now are just utter devastation for his wife, for his 2 young children, doing what he did best, fearlessly going out and taking on the American youth. That is who Charlie debated. And I can't actually believe we're talking about him in the past tense. I didn't have the privilege of meeting him. I didn't agree with everything Charlie Kirk always said, but I loved to watch him debate because he was brilliant at it, absolutely superb at standing up for what he believed in. And the ramifications of this will be enormous, particularly here in Washington, D.C., where he has so many supporters. I've just been watching clips of Megyn Kelly, one of the right-wing YouTube independent journalists, now commentators, and she had been interviewing people this evening that were giving hope just a few moments ago, saying that he did have a pulse when he was at the university, from one eyewitness who was there. And it's devastating to now realise that that hasn't turned out to the ending that we all wanted it to have. There were so many messages online of people that supported Charlie, that wanted this to be good news. They were just grasping at any sense of optimism. It's absolutely devastating, and the implications of this will be huge. They will be felt around the White House here tomorrow. We're going to be here this evening. We're hopefully going to talk to some people here in DC who knew Charlie, who were supportive of him. And as I say, most importantly this evening, not just that he's a public figure that we've lost, he was a family man, he was a husband, and he had 2 very young children, and they were his proudest achievements. And so all of our sympathies go out to his wife and children this evening.
Bev Turner, absolutely. Those sympathies being echoed, I think, in every newsroom right across the country, the United States, the United Kingdom this evening. Let's bring in my panel this evening, though. Mark Littlewood, Adam Brooks and Nina Miskov. Adam, I mean, I could feel the tension in this room as we were waiting for some news on this, and this was the worst news. But it's the news, sadly, that many were expecting.
I'm horrified, and my thoughts go out to his family and friends at this time. And it's also very worrying. I'm sat here as a political commentator and activist myself. This is an attack on free speech. This is an attack on democracy in the Western world. And it's simply horrifying. And I really feel for Americans right now. And I feel for other commentators and political activists as well that may be questioning whether they should go on and carry on putting their head above the parapet.
Because that's what they want, really, isn't it, with these sorts of incidents. And Mark Littlewood, you heard Bev Turner there live in Washington, D.C., describing this as a political assassination. And that's going to be what people take from this immediately, aren't they? Because he was delivering it at a public political event, doing what he's done thousands of times, not only in the United States, but here in Europe. He was in London very recently, speaking with us at GB News. That was a political assassination.
I think that's probably the only conclusion you can draw. As far as we gather, the shooter has not been apprehended at the scene, which is pretty worrying, because if you don't get the shooter quickly, it becomes a complex manhunt. You would assume that that is it, isn't it? That he has been murdered for his political views, and having contributed so much to the Conservative movement in America, at the age of 31, I believe he is, he's become a martyr for it. And on both sides of the Atlantic, I now fear that we are not practising what is necessary in a democracy, which is that people who fundamentally disagree need to do so politely, pleasantly and sincerely, not with violence. And Ben Leo's already referred to this. If you get into a slanging match, calling everybody you dislike a racist or an extremist or a Nazi or Hitler, you create a toxic environment. And our political leaders on both sides of the political ledger, I think, now need to temper their language. You can't directly blame them for what's happened here, but it certainly doesn't lower the temperature.
Nina Miskov, gbnews.com/Your Say. I've never seen it quite so busy with people paying tribute to Charlie Kirk. I know you said that he isn't necessarily the most prominent activist to the average Briton, but certainly from people paying their respects this evening, a lot of people have been taken in by, frankly, his good faith charm and the way that he engaged all those audiences, regardless of their perspectives. People are going to be very moved by this incident, whether they met him or they didn't, because of the way that he engaged with free speech, the way that he engaged with political debate. This is a tremendous loss, regardless of your politics.